All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Oh my gosh. Thank you for waiting for me through that very long intro. Good to see you all. Um, I'm not wearing a red sweater in solidarity with Red Note, but it just worked out that way. But we're going to talk about the sudden jump to the Red Note app, and it seems to be a wave, a red wave, if you will. Um, of people finding out uh, the reality of the truth about government suppression and not seeming to mind being on a Chinese app at all. In fact, it's kind of creating a bit of a Streisand effect, which I was just. Yeah, thanks, Kameshwari Kate, and thank you, Kameshwari Kate, for the purchase. She bought like all my records on Bandcamp. Thank you. That is awesome. Um, yeah, I was just talking about the Streisand effect yesterday, and talking about what it was, and here's a perfect example of the U.S. government trying to make everybody fear China, and what it ended up doing was boomeranging and make everyone go, China's not so bad. In fact, China might be better than the U.S. I mean, they do have blatant censorship, but I guess they're a little more upfront about it. They're not posing as the land of the free and the home of the brave, while whilst snooping and surveilling and controlling and censoring everybody's thoughts. They're kind of more open about it, I guess. But I don't know. I'm sure they have their own propaganda, right? Like I'm sure they, China is the land of freedom to them. Hold on one second. Sorry. Saw that I was not wearing business attire. Just had a very busy morning. All right. Good to see y'all on Rockfin. We're live on Rockfin, Rumble. Oh, thanks, Kameshwari Kate. Yeah, still blue. A long time ago, seems like a really long time ago now, I covered a whole Joni Mitchell record, and it is one of my favorite records. Um, as far as like how it came out, the sound of it, the process of it, and the songs are, obvious. I love that whole record. So it was like a really great experience to make that record, and I feel like I'm, one of the records that I'm most proud of. There are other records where I feel like, maybe I could have done better, or maybe could have twisted some knobs here and there, but that one not so much. I really feel like I put my best foot forward on that one. All right, so let's get into it. There's quite a bit to talk about today, but we're gonna kind of stick to the, Bandcamp makes you accept cookies. Yeah, well, cookies are delicious, except for when they're spying on you. Spying on you. Um, oh, by the way, remember tonight I'm going to be on Extinctionati at 5 p.m. Pacific. If that's a good time for people. And then next Wednesday, I'll be on with Extra Bulla at 4 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to talk about some things. Yes. Yeah. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the Little Red Book or Red Note. Um, it's very, this just happened in the last 24 hours. Let's start with this one, since we talked about the Streisand effect. And James Lee does some good coverage of this as well. This is Arnaud Bertrand says, "Okay, we are legit witnessing the greatest geopolitical Streisand effect of my lifetime. I'm seeing dozens of posts on X with massive engagement, tens of thousands of likes, and millions of views praising China and lambasting US anti China propaganda. I assume this is the same on other social media platforms. It's like the greatest soft power win China has ever scored by a huge margin." And the funniest thing is, China literally did nothing for it. It's entirely organic, or more accurately, triggered by the US government. And what? Say it with me now, blowback. This is what you get. Yes, Bella. 4 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. Eastern for Extra Bulla. That's next Wednesday, or a week from today. Yes, Salt Lakers, if we think you're communist, we'll censor you because free speech and stuff, land of the free. Um, will it be sustained? Are we witnessing a turning point where Americans will durably refuse to get brainwashed and gaslighted about China? Let's see. But one thing is sure, especially when you couple this with the vibe shift of younger Americans around Israel, where we're entering a new age, where US propaganda, once so good that most people didn't even realize its existence, is increasingly ineffective. It, I guess it used to be good. I think it was just, I suppose US propaganda used to be good. There's several things involved in that statement, but um, the US has shifted much to the right over the last couple of decades, right? Um, and hold on, is somebody messaging me now? Let me see if maybe I'm getting something wrong. Let me make sure I get things right here. Maybe not. Okay. um, the U.S. has increasingly become more openly corrupt. Is part of it. Um, but yeah, and I think without the internet, it's a lot easier to control people's thoughts, right? And people buy in. Um, People buy in to the idea of the U.S. being the land of the free, the great melting pot, the place where everybody comes to get free and get money, right? Um, and people are seeing through that facade, or through that fairy tale, if you will. They're seeing it more than ever as for what it is, which is a falsehood. Um, let's go back to this post. Excuse me. So these are some of the tweetsies. Explain why China is my enemy. I have more in common with your average Chinese worker than I do with an American billionaire. Oh, thank you, Shani. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Uh, just loaded the Little Red Book app. This app is going to undo decades of US propaganda. I'm already jealous of their cars. This is what Joe Biden took from you. US giving China a huge soft power victory and undoing billions of dollars of propaganda by banning TikTok would be the most hilarious outcome in all of this. Somebody saying Red Note got me wondering why we're always beefing with China. Love them. Guys, isn't this how the world is supposed to be? And what is he? I think he's, Talking to people, interacting with people in China on the Red Note app. Let's keep going. There's lots about this. We're gonna hold on. I've got my tabs everywhere open. Okay, so let's let's go to James Lee for a little more coverage on this. All the U.S. government moves to ban TikTok over national security concerns. Millions of Americans are flocking uh, to, I can't pronounce it. We'll get another pronunciation again. Little Red Book, another Chinese social media app. This should set off massive alarm bells, but not for reasons you think. Let's dive in. Back in the 1960s, the Little Red Book, officially titled Quotations from Chairman Mao, was a cornerstone of communist propaganda in China. It's amazing that this app is called Little Red Book. It symbolized absolute loyalty to the Mao regime and was used to indoctrinate millions during the culture. Wouldn't it be amazing if there was a communist resurgence, a resurgence in interest in the communist way of life or communist party, or maybe the communists aren't so bad? Whoa. Now that would be damaging. If you had a fracturing of the idea that communism bad, communism bad, socialism bad, right? Like this is the American. This is echoed everywhere in the United States, especially from the right and also from the alternative media, right? Communism bad. It's just you just hear it all day long. Wouldn't it be an amazing thing if people were like, well, let's see, they got a lot of stuff. They seem pretty happy. They seem to be eating pretty well, and the government's kind of taking care of them. Like, what's so bad about communism? Anyways, yes, Shawnee, I actually thought that myself. If it was a psyop, if Red Note itself was a psyop, right? If they were going to ban TikTok and everybody goes to the Red Note app, I actually did anybody download it because I downloaded it today, and then I checked it out for a second, and then I deleted it just because I was like, I don't know what's going on with this. Right? This just happened in the last 24 hours. I don't know anything about this. Like maybe I should just chill out and wait for a second. Anyways, let's keep going. The book wasn't just a collection of quotes, it was a tool of indoctrination. A tool of indoctrination. PSYOP? Millions were forced to memorize it, carry it, and use it to justify political campaigns, even violence. It symbolized absolute trust in Mao's authority. Fast forward to today, the Little Red Book is also the name of a Chinese social media app, dubbed the Instagram of China. It's a mix of lifestyle content, e commerce, and product recommendations. All videos, of course, heavily scrutinized by the Chinese Communist Party. So maybe, maybe this blowback, or maybe this is like, maybe the fear of having your data stolen by China was a way to get everybody to go to an app where you're going to have all your data stolen by China, right? So beware, be very wary, be very skeptical at all times, right? At all times. Even though this is an interesting cultural phenomenon happening, very quickly. 5. And as the US TikTok ban looms in the Supreme Court, millions are downloading the Little Red Book. It's sitting at number 1 in the App Store. Americans are literally flocking to the app named after one of history's most infamous pieces of communist propaganda. Let that sink in. This is where things get complicated. Americans aren't dumb or oblivious. They're angry. Angry because they see through the government's justification for banning TikTok. And it's becoming more and more clear the priority isn't protecting us, it's controlling us. So let's listen to this. This is short.
TikTok, but you're not going to TikTok getting banned should radicalize you, because what do you mean that you're about to ban an app headquarters in Los Angeles? What do you mean that our Congress could not agree on banning guns, but you're going to ban an app that helps Americans make money? What do you mean you're going to ban TikTok, but you're not going to force Meta to stop selling our data to foreign entities? What do you mean you're going to ban TikTok, but you're not going to stop predatory practices from insurance companies? What do you mean you're going to ban TikTok and you're not going to have universal healthcare? Or while we're at it, canceling student loan debt, which, by the way, TikTok helps people pay their bills. What do you mean that the first thing that Democrats and Republicans agree on is making our lives more difficult? What do you mean that you're gonna ban an app? Like, I don't know, I was in Egypt recently. I couldn't see Al Jazeera out there, or Middle Eastern Eye. Like, this is the kind of shit that fascist governments do.
Yeah, so good points there. It's like when they want to do something, they move awful quick. And when they don't want to do something for you, they move really slow, if not ever, right? Like they move so slow, if not ever, or they go backwards, right? From, everybody wants this thing, Medicare for all, or, let's whatever it is. They not only don't go forward on it, they actually go backwards on it and tell you that they're trying to go forward, right? And people are realizing more and more every day how full of bull the leaders are and the people are that, supposedly are doing things for your benefit and care about you. And yeah, let's keep going. So here's another take on that. We're going to stay on Red Note for just a moment. All right.
The wildest part about this entire shift to Redbook is that U.S. citizens now are connected to Chinese citizens. The entire U.S. propaganda machine that makes us afraid of them. It makes us think that their lives are shitty or in this authoritarian realm. It's just completely shattered. It's broken. Not only that, but someone was just talking about watching a grocery haul on Redbook and how they couldn't believe how much groceries that these Chinese citizens had because they can afford groceries. Thank you, Chairman Mao. Thank you, President Xi. Fuck you, Biden. Fuck you, Trump. Fuck you, America.
小红书.
Okay.
Hey. Okay. So
hold on.
This Redbook thing.
Okay. Let's go to something from James Lee. He says, while the latest twist in the TikTok ban saga approved content creators, this is wild. It's pretty wild. Approved content creators, aka those contracted by the Pentagon, will still be allowed to post on TikTok in order to shape the perception of the US to foreign audiences abroad. So you won't be allowed on TikTok, but they'll be allowed on TikTok in order to create propaganda. Fairly wild. Yeah, good idea, guys. Definitely. Definitely be wary of the Red Note. I would not jump on that train myself, but not right now. It's just way too early in the game because you don't know what is going on. All right, let's listen to James Lee.
So as it turns out, the U.S. government will still be allowed on TikTok, even though you and we won't be allowed. This is according to leaked documents obtained by Ken Klippenstein. And here is that leaked document. It says that the Bureau of Global Public Affairs recognizes the substantial opportunity costs of public diplomacy practitioners' inability to access TikTok and is pleased to share that the department has approved 2 limited exceptions to the general prohibitions on use of the platform. The first exception pertains to the monitoring and analysis on TikTok by these public diplomacy practitioners, where they're basically allowed to lurk, but they're not posting actively on the platform. The second exception applies to digital content creators who have been explicitly contracted by the federal government to post content on TikTok. Meaning that if
Wow.
you're a Mr. Beast or a Kelly Clarkson or a Guy Fieri, these folks who have approved deals with the Pentagon to make content that's been approved, then they would continue to be allowed to do so. And the document explicitly explains why there's such carve-outs, saying, quote, the platform, now one of the most downloaded digital platforms globally, is increasingly a primary source of news for audiences around the world, including those under the age of 35, a critical demographic for PD, that's public diplomacy, engagement. In the near term, conversations on the platform shape the policy environment in which we operate. Long term, they are shaping the perceptions of a generation of foreign audiences. Yeah, so that kind of gives away the whole game there a little bit, in which, you know, it's clear that it's about speech and that we don't deserve speech, but people that have been approved by the US State Department, the Pentagon, these types of people, they can have speech so they can spread their propaganda to other people around the world, allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild stuff. Thanks for the link, Bella. Check that out. It looks interesting. There's also something interesting going around. Oh, what is it called? I have to find it. I have to find it and bring it back tomorrow. Just a few more things on RedNote, and I think we'll move on. Or that might be it. Okay. Oh, last one. This is just for comic relief. My TikTok feed is basically this now.
我要恭喜美国政府引起 TikTok 导演。我是要红书上和网友找到了共同点，发现我有很多中国朋友找了很多次，这些公会没有你们，这一切都不可能实现。我爱中华人民共和国。
Okay. I saw a lot of that. I actually did see a lot of, as soon as I downloaded RedNote, I was immediately in the algorithm that was bringing me like people talking to Americans on RedNote or Americans on RedNote posting. There does seem to be a huge influx of people there, and there seems to be a whole like acceptance that this is what's happening now, you know? So it's interesting meme. I deleted it. Maybe I'll get it back later, but for right now, I'm like way too skeptical to go down that road. All right. A lot of people are wary of. Oh, okay. Sorry. Last thing about TikTok, I forgot one more item here, and there is. This is from yesterday. Apparently, Elon is talking about buying TikTok, and well, we talked about that, right? They said they rejected as pure fiction a report that a deal could take place if it fails to avoid an impending ban. That means that he's probably in the running. He's probably first in line. Oh no, it's absolutely not happening. Oh, guess what? Elon Musk just bought TikTok. I don't know. You know, that would be very sus to use the youth's parlance. Sorry. Yeah, I would not want Elon Musk owning both TikTok and Twitter. But what? Zuckerberg owns Instagram, Facebook, Threads, WhatsApp. You know, he's got a bit of a monopoly going, and they all do. They want to. Anyways, they've held preliminary talks about a potential option to sell TikTok's operations to U.S. billionaire Elon Musk. Wow. Another option is that Musk acts as a broker in a deal to sell the app. So he is in the running, even though they, anyways, even though they called it pure fiction. But yeah, I would, I wouldn't like to see that. I'd be very wary of that. I can't imagine that would be a positive for people. But but if he bought it, he could buy it on the wave of we're bringing back free speech to TikTok. No, 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 my friends. This guy is deep in the APAC pocket, and you know what that means. Anyways, under one scenario, Musk's social media platform X would take control of TikTok US and run the business together. And that is actually his ultimate goal, is to make X, right? He's already talked about making X like a what's the app that everybody has? WeChat, is it WeChat or something else? I think it might be WeChat. He wants to turn X into an everything app. Well, if he took over TikTok and maybe a few other platforms, or he could actually make it just that, right? Because what does TikTok have that X doesn't have? It has the shop, the e-commerce element. TikTok Shop is a huge business, and that's where a lot of people make money. Hawking items from the TikTok Shop. Like you can, that's what people do. They just market items that are in the shop. They do their affiliate, marketing dance, make little videos or whatever, and post several times a day, and it's a lucrative business. So I would say that actually, totally makes sense, right? Because if you blend the e-commerce TikTok Shop into X, which, X doesn't have an e-commerce area, it would kind of be a big step in that direction of making it an everything app, right? Okay. So, again, probably more likely than not. All right. So people are very concerned about what's going on with, insurance denials, land grabs. They're wondering, the man. I've seen, there is this argument of like people saying like screw the conspiracy theorists and the people on the internet talking about the mismanagement and the things, and Bill Burr, right? Did anybody see the Bill Burr clip? Which I think, I generally like Bill Burr, but this comment from him is completely dopey. It's kind of dopey and uneducated. Let's look at this for a second. We'll watch it anyways because there's a lot of people that agree with this take, but I would say, I don't know, keep your eyes open at all times. Do not. Hold on, maybe it's here. This guy is like, Bill Burr is a legend, bro. And I would say, yeah, sure. These were extreme conditions. It's very difficult to fight fire in these extreme conditions. Yes. But to say that there wasn't mismanagement is actually ignorant because there was absolutely mismanagement. It's just it's all over the place. The water, the lack of water, the lack of firefighting in the initial, right? Like, yes, the firefighters had a hard time, but like there, seemed to be an awful big lag in getting people, into position for these things, among so many other things, right? The reports that insurance, policies were canceled just before the fire. There just seems to be I played the videos. Anyways, let's hear it. Yes, exactly.
I heard you had to evacuate your home.
Yes, like most people I had to. I got lucky, the winds moved, but the fire was coming and all that stuff. So I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet,
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Oh my God. All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean? And then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds. You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged. Like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
You know about helicopters because I remember, and it's interesting now thinking about it because you said that.
About it. I know about the one that I fly. Other than that, I don't know anything about it.
You know
but
something.
If you're on the internet, you know everything.
I hope you know about it because you said that you got your pilot's license in case like all hell broke loose in LA, you could get out of LA. And at any moment, did you think I'm going to make a run for that helicopter?
Well, the error in my thought was I didn't realize how expensive helicopters were. So all I have is a 2-seater, and I didn't want to have to make Sophie's choice with my family. So, we all piled into the SUV like everybody else. But no, man, these guys were out there clearing the trees, getting the wires back up and everything. It was like the perfect awful thing that could have happened, and it did. And I love how all the chatter out there is about bands of illegal immigrants and homeless people lighting fires. They light fires every day. They're living outside. Cold. And this theory that some homeless guy without a car went from Altadena all the way to the Pacific Palisades. And then
he's, okay, I'm going to stop it there because I don't know what he's doing. Like, Bill Burr is generally pretty good at seeing through scenarios and propaganda in general, but like he seems to be playing right into Jimmy Kimmel's Jimmy Kimmel is a very, he's in a particular position in order to disseminate propaganda, and that's what he does, right? Like we know that by now. Jimmy Kimmel is a tool of the state. He's a tool of the CIA. He's a propagandist, full stop, right? There's nothing controversial or anti-establishment about Jimmy Kimmel whatsoever. He toes the establishment line every chance that he gets. And Bill Burr is playing right into Jimmy Kimmel's position. And so, ridiculing people that have questions around this. In fact, he's ridiculing the victims of the fire. Like, there are a lot of victims. I see a lot of people that lost their homes, people that were in the fire, and have serious questions about what the hell is going on, right? Everybody, my neighbors are like, we're not, we see what's going on here, right? There's a, especially in Altadena, there's a huge awareness around the idea of a land grab. There's a huge awareness around the idea that it was a traditionally middle-class Black neighborhood who held on to their homes as they rose in value over the last 20 years, significantly, right? Those homes went from $100,000 to close to $1 million in about a 20, I'd say since 2008, pre-2008. If you had your home pre-2008 and you held on to your home, you probably saw your property go up, 10 times value. But these people that were there for a long time held on to their homes, and that was all the equity they had, right? The street I lived on was very mixed. It was families, Black families that had been there for generations, in their homes still. There were, yuppie types, that were moving in and buying the homes up. There were, the people next door to me were Latino immigrants from, not immigrants, but they came from Texas, But I think they were probably only like a generation removed from emigrating from, I'm assuming Mexico, but I'm not going to assume that. Anyways, they came to California from Texas, built a house, and then their house burned down. And how they worked their asses off to build that house. And man, so to have Bill Burr kind of like uh kind of laugh at these people is kind of disgusting. So thumbs down on this one, Bill Burr. Just not cool. Not really cool to do that. The California Insurance Commission is addressing the reality that there were insurance policies canceled right before the fire. They're acknowledging this conspiracy theory, right? That people are, or they're acknowledging these concerns by the people out there going like, hey, we had our insurance policies canceled right before this fire happened, and the fire happened. Like, he's ridiculing the people who live here who have legitimate concerns. That is bullshit. Come on, man. Let's yes, it is really hard to fight fires in those conditions. So, you gotta allow for at least, understanding that and understanding the plight of the firefighters. But there was, there's a backstory, and the backstory is real. California Insurance Commissioner issues 1-year moratorium to protect Southern California homeowners. Let's see. The California Insurance Commissioner issued a mandatory 1-year moratorium on non-renewals and cancellations to protect Southern California residents affected by the recent fires. At a news conference on Friday, Ricardo Lara said his primary concern is to make sure residents who are affected by the fires get the full insurance benefits they are entitled to. Last night, I issued a bulletin to protect homeowners affected by the Palisades and Eaton fires from non-renewals and cancellations by your insurance companies for 1 year. This is great. This is fully necessary. Anyways. Laura issued the moratorium on Thursday as the region continues to be wrecked by several fires that have burned over 36,000 acres. His moratorium applies to the zip codes around the Palisades and Eaton fires, as well as adjacent areas. It will cover homeowners even if their homes were destroyed or damaged. I'm calling on insurance companies to suspend any pending non-renewals and cancellations that homeowners received before the fire started. So he is addressing the legitimate claim by people that everybody suddenly got these fire insurance cancellations prior to so it's not a conspiracy theory. That actually was happening. That's real. That's legitimate. The insurance California Insurance Agency or Protection Agency is acknowledging this is a real thing. Anyways. This means that if you received a non-renewal from your homeowner's insurance between October 9th and January 7th, essentially 90 days, your insurance company should do the right thing and retain you as a valued policyholder. Laura's moratorium comes as thousands of Los Angeles homeowners were dropped by insurers before the Palisades fires erupted. CNS Money Watch reported that about 1,600 policies in the Pacific Palisades area were dropped by State Farm in July. Well, you won't be covered by the moratorium, will you? To provide additional support to those affected areas, Laura called on insurers to extend their 60-day grace period for homeowners to pay their insurance premiums. Beyond just helping out homeowners, Laura intends to introduce new legislation to protect business owners in his moratorium law. So we'll see if this really helps people out or not. They seem to be aware of the situation and ready to react to it. Thank you, Brenda. Brenda just bought 5 coffees. I appreciate you. She says, so glad you and your family made it out safely from the fires. Love and support. And I'm incredibly grateful, Brenda, and that is an incredibly generous contribution. And thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys for, man, the support. Everything that everybody has donated is just really, I don't know. It is really touching me, like, in a way. And it's very overwhelming. All the support that everybody is giving. Also, Biden is giving out $770 checks. Yep, that's true too. It's a weird number, don't you think? I'm sure some people are going to have something to say about the number 77. I don't know. It's a strange number. Why 770 and not 750 or 700 or 800? 770. I don't know. They were originally going to make the checks out for 666, but that was too weird. Yeah, the 770 number is a weird number. I'm sure I'm going to hear somebody explain to me why that was chosen, or the number 77 has been in other I don't know, other situations over the past few years, decades, whatever. Let's see. Let's keep going. This is someone talking about they're going to turn Altadena into one gigantic apartment complex. They're going to rezone the area to allow for more apartments. I feel like they were already doing that, because before the fires, they were building, I think, like low cost housing, or housing for low income folks in the area. And it was kind of strange because it's generally a residential neighborhood. There's not apartments up there, and not a lot of apartments. So when they're actually like building apartments, it's kind of like, oh, that looks out of place. But maybe they were planning on building more. Well, let's watch this.
But the most interesting element of my conversation with Mr. Giacoletti was when he talked about the possibility of, as we start rebuilding, starting to relax some of the zoning laws, especially in a more working class neighborhood like Altadena, so that rather than putting up single family residences, especially on parcels where people might not have the wherewithal to rebuild at all, we allow developers to start putting up duplexes and apartments. In other words, increasing density, but also increasing more housing. But the most interesting element of my conversation with Mr. Giacoletti was when he talked about the possibility of, as we start rebuilding.
Yeah. And, people have problems with that. There were some large lots in Altadena, larger lots, some pretty big homes, some pretty massive homes up there. And like I said, there were people that were in homes for several decades. When it was more, it's kind of less working class now. It still is slightly, somewhat working class, but there's a lot of like new money and gentrification and investors, and like it took a long, they tried to get Altadena out of like a ghetto mode. And when I was going to I went to school now near Altadena. It was right down the street from Altadena. And when I went to school there, which was, several decades ago, Altadena, or at least where I lived, was definitely known to be more low income and almost ghetto, right? And there was gang issues, and there was like drug issues and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, over the decades they were trying to gentrify the area, and it took them a long time. That they really worked on that. They like really tried to get people to invest in opening up new businesses or starting um, new venture. They were trying to bring new money into the area, and it wasn't really working for several decades, but it finally kind of kicked in about 20 years ago. I want to say um, is when they started to get people to take hold of the idea that they could buy these homes for really cheap, and then rehab them, turn around, and get the property value up. But a lot of people that lived there stayed. So as the property value started to go up, these people, and there were people up there trying to buy homes for cash, right? For a lot of cash. And the homes were going for close to $1 million, by the time of the fire. Again, homes that were about 100,000, maybe around the turn of the century. Anyways, and there are a lot of memes out there right now saying like, we're not going to sell, we're not moving out, we're not going away, we're going to rebuild. And I hope that's the case. I really do. I think some people are going to take the offers from the investors. Hey, rebuilding is going to be a pain in the ass. How about half the value of your property in cash? You can walk away. Sure, a lot of people would probably prefer, right? They'd be like, sure, fine, I'll take that. I'm out of here. And a lot of people, there's a lot of memes out there right now telling people not to resist that. Okay. And here is a little more. We're going to run a little late today. This video is a perfect example of what's happening in Altadena. National Guards and cops with guns. It is a little surprising to see these guys just out there with the guns. On one side of the street, while community organizes mutual aid and resources next to a burnt down house across the way, the state isn't doing anything here other than a show of force. This is from the People's City Council in LA. They do some pretty good work. And more on this. This won't be covered in the mainstream media. In Altadena, the cops and National Guard are standing around with guns out while the community is assisting each other with mutual aid, supplies, and resources. The state is seemingly not doing a goddamn thing other than the show of force. I'd have to disagree with that. There's a ton. There is a ton of not just donation centers, which is all, the community aid, which is great, but there is actually a show of, so the FEMA was out, the Firemen's Foundation was out giving people debit cards, and FEMA's out giving people assistance, and they have several shelters open. So that the whole not doing a damn thing, I don't think is necessarily fair. So the show of force and the lockdown thing, I think, is disturbing people, and I have questions about that as well. Like I said, we tried to go up this weekend and we couldn't get in there, but I don't know if that's true now. I haven't tried yet again. But more about this. So I can't stop thinking about this. As far as I know, the state's primary presence in Pasadena, Altadena seems to police be police and military presence. Most of the mutual aid efforts you see online or organized autonomously. And yeah, there is a lot of on the ground aid, and a lot of people are coming to the rescue and organizing them. So just taking it upon themselves to organize. And that is what is really like amazing to see, is people organizing, just not even waiting for anybody to tell them like go ahead, like they're just doing it. The government does seem to be responding to this, though. So, you know, and there's also another, not only is the insurance commission doing a moratorium, but they're also, I heard that they're going to zero out the property values for the, you know, they're not going to really assess taxes, or no, that's not true. Hold on. Let me get this right. They're going to assess the property at just the value of the land and not the property, the home. So we'll take the value of the property down for a short time so that they're only assessing like minimal taxes. Oh, here it is. I know where it is. We can watch the video. Let's see. Good news for any. I'll send this to. All right, send this here, and then we can probably open up this and watch it. So this is also, you know, it's good if you are the focus group, right? If you're the focus group, it's good to get loud and good to, you know, air your grievances publicly and loudly, so that the powers that be can hear you. Excuse me. Sorry, this is opened in the wrong area. Let's watch this. This is a local lawyer. I think he's a local, called IO Loves You, but this guy is on with legal advice, and he seems to.
And here's how you do that.
I want to run it from the beginning.
Google your address with the letters APN. Copy and paste that APN number. Go to assessor.lacounty.gov/forms. Search for and fill out form AD.
I'm going to start this from the beginning. Hold on.
Wildfires. I just spoke to the LA County Tax Assessor's Office and confirmed that they are going to reassess our property values down to just raw land, and they're going to defer our tax bills out until our homes are rebuilt. This is huge. Please make sure that anyone you know who lost their home sees this. This is what they have to do to make sure that they can access this. It will save them thousands of dollars every month. Call your mortgage company and let them know to take your tax bill, if it's in an impound or an escrow account, off of your bill every month. And here's how you do this. Google your address with the letters APN. Copy and paste that APN number. Go to assessor.lacounty.gov/forms. Search for and fill out form ADS820. Add your APN number where it asks you for real property assessor ID number. Open that filled PDF in preview or something and sign it, save it, and email it to relief@assessor.lacounty.gov. This is going to save people so much stress and anxiety. Please make sure that they see it. This has been very dense, but all of the information, I'm going to post a link in my bio. It's on lafires.iolovesyou.com. You can find all of this under accounting stuff and property tax adjustment accounting.
Okay. So that's good news for property owners and people who are wondering if they're going to have to pay. You know, there's a lot of questions about, you know, am I paying my mortgage? Am I paying my taxes? Am I paying, you know, while I have no home? Anyways, so there are bits and pieces of relief, coming from the state. It's not for nothing, but there are questions, legitimate questions, and people should be very wary and skeptical about everything that's going on. And I urge people to continue doing so, continue asking questions, raising your voices, and if you see something, go ahead and publicly, wonder what the heck is going on, right? Okay. Let's see. I want to try and make sure that I don't miss anybody. If you all do donate to me, or I know that. Oh, thank you, Kate, for the PayPal. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you, Kate. I'm glad you enjoyed that. So thank you, Kate, for the PayPal. If I miss anybody, I'm trying not to miss anybody, but let's talk about a couple more things before we go. I think this is it for Fire News. Let's see. I missed something on the TikTok ban. There's another story that I want to cover. The other story I want to talk about. Let's watch this video. This is interesting. This is a conversation between a Chinese Uyghur and a racist MAGA. The MAGA's reaction when he realized the Uyghur wasn't white and then called Western claims of genocide in Xinjiang bullshit. Anyways, let's watch this.
Damn, my man knows some Chinese.
Is this guy really racist? He seems actually fairly up on game. He knows how to pronounce the Uyghur name in Chinese, or the name for Uyghur in Chinese. He knows how to pronounce, he's talking to him in Chinese. So I don't really, is he just wearing the hat and playing this up? I don't know. But we'll watch this. This looks a little bit staged.
Doesn't make sense.
Horseshit.
Oh, marsh. It's horseshit in English, but we don't say marsh.
Nobody says it, but I say it. And by the way,
Yeah.
we're talking about the second coming of Christ. You're a white boy.
I'm not a white boy.
So you're white.
I'm not. I'm Chinese. Don't you know that China has never been a homogenous country? We have a lot of different ethnic groups.
Bro, I want you to go to the bathroom right now. I want you to take a look at the mirror. I want you to say, I'm not a white boy.
I'm not a white boy. I'm not.
For fucking real.
Yeah, for fucking real. I belong to the ethnic group called Uyghur. You probably heard of that. Yeah.
Oh, Xinjiang?
Yeah, Xinjiang.
It's funny because I heard about Xinjiang and the Uyghur concentration camps, but then I talked to a recent Chinese and they were from Xinjiang.
Yeah.
And that Chinese person told me, no, that's bullshit.
Because that is bullshit. I'm telling you that too.
That's crazy.
That is all fucking propaganda.
I'm almost believing that, bro.
You should believe it.
From the north of Chinese and you're from South China,
yeah,
they fucking racist against each other.
It just few people does that shit. Because everywhere has some bad people. Mostly people are good. People are kind to each other. It's not as many racism as America does.
We have more minority. Well, we got every fucking ethnicity. We are the least racist country on the planet.
You believe that?
I believe that 100%. You could be fucking Jew. Jews, by the way. Sorry. You could be Chinese, you could be black, white, gay, straight, trans.
Yeah,
whatever.
this is
Do whatever
absolutely
you want.
staged.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
yeah.
accept you. I was fucking married to a Chinese. Chong the ping pong bing bong.
Fuck,
Ping
stop saying that, man. Stop
Sing
saying that.
song. Sing song? No, don't sing song. Play song.
Stop that shit.
It's a joke, bro.
I'm getting offense right now. That is
You're
fucking.
a fucking white piece of
That is
shit, bro. You're
Get
a
the
fucking
fuck
white
out of
piece
here, man. I'm Chinese, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, it looks played up for views to me. Because that guy knows way too much Chinese and is too like cute. He's too clued into what's going on to be like just a typical MAGA dude. I think he's just got the hat. He's playing it. Anyways. All right. So last thing I want to talk about is there is a ceasefire brewing in Gaza, and they're basically crediting Trump with this. Now I know there's lots of people going, no way, it's not Trump, it's Biden, or it's something else, or it's just bullshit, or he's lying. I don't know. I know every single story has 20 views, 20 opinions about what's really going on. I get it. I know. They were friends, right? They kind of, I feel like they knew each other. Yeah, there was too much. Anyways. Anyways, there's a lot of ways to look at this story, but what kind of, what seems to be the general consensus is that Trump engineered or pushed Netanyahu to do the ceasefire. And there's a ton of takes on this. We're going to try and go through the story a little bit and try and figure out what's going on. But let's see. Where did we start? Revolutionary Blackout Network says, so a vote for Kamala Harris was a vote to continue the genocide, while a vote for Donald Trump was a vote for a ceasefire. Amazing. I hope all progressives who voted for Kamala have a hard time sleeping at night. You guys effing suck. Anyways. Let's go through a little bit of this. Again, a lot of people are crediting Trump with this, or saying that this is engineered, designed, and or pushed forward. Anyways, here's Glenn Greenwald. You can disagree, you can agree, you can disagree. I don't know. We're looking at the story. That's what we're doing. I'm not telling you this is, my take on it. I don't know what my take is on it. It just looks like, and it's something that Trump is taking credit for. We don't know. Let's look. Trump posted, we have a deal for the hostages in the Middle East. They will be released shortly. Thank you. Jeremy Scahill reposts this. Trump post on Truth Social. He just says the same thing. Glenn Greenwald, I don't care what you think of Trump. I don't care what Trump's motives are or what else he promised Israel, which I'm sure is non-trivial. He's saying, I'm sure there's something. He's saying, I'm sure there's other layers to this story, right? Anyone who causes an end to Israel's civilian destruction in Gaza has done a good thing. There's no denying his key role. So Glenn Greenwald is saying he was key in engineering this, and that I know it doesn't look like the Iran hostage. You're right, Shani. You're absolutely right. It looks like almost right. The way that photo op lined up with Reagan being inaugurated and the hostages coming home and everybody going, yay. It looks like they're running that playbook again. But anyways, let's keep going. He goes on to say, or somebody's saying, oh, I don't know. That's not important. Let's keep going. The Times of Israel. So there's a little acknowledgement by the Times of Israel that Trump was involved in this. Arab officials said Trump envoy swayed Netanyahu more in one meeting than Biden did all year. Anyway, so that's what the Times of Israel is saying. Let's keep going. Sorry, everything is everywhere right now. I didn't really get a chance to. I didn't get a chance to organize my tabs. And so, okay. And here is another take. We're going to just look at a couple more things. Here's another take on this. Slightly. This is Jeffrey Sachs talking about this. And we're going to read about it. This is from Free Range Bum. The message is we had a secret deal. Yeah. Trump ceasefires and the art of the false deal. Professor Jeffrey Sachs argues that if a ceasefire deal materializes in Gaza, it will be Trump's accomplishment, pointing to the pressure the former president is allegedly placing on Israel. Sachs is right about one thing. This could have been done long ago, after October 7th, 2023, when the carnage began. But the Biden administration, historically beholden to Israeli interests, dragged its feet, ensuring the bloodshed continued unchecked. However, let's not kid ourselves. Trump is no maverick in this game. He is beholden to Israel, as beholden as his predecessors, a reality baked into the fabric of U.S. deep state foreign policy. The current push for a ceasefire isn't some diplomatic masterstroke by Trump. It's a calculated move to save face for an Israel that's been utterly overextended. After over 15 months of fighting Hamas and facing Hezbollah's resistance or resilience, Israel has failed to achieve strategic victory. Throw in Iran's looming presence and the Houthis raining ballistic missiles on Israeli targets, and you have a European settler colony reeling under its own hubris. Israel doesn't want peace. It wants a tactical breather. It needs an off-ramp to mask its inability to crush Palestinian resistance, let alone confront Hezbollah or Iran. A ceasefire allows Israel to claim a propaganda victory without addressing the reality. It has failed to extinguish the flames of resistance in Gaza or Lebanon or the rest of the world, by the way. You had a fuck Iran t-shirt? Okay. All right. Anyways, Trump's deal will be sold as an accomplishment. And yes, I'm telling you, it doesn't really matter. Like, if they get this ceasefire done, like, it doesn't matter whether there's backroom deals or it's not real or somebody else's. It doesn't matter. On the surface, it makes Trump look like a hero and it looks Biden look like even more of a failure. You know, that's on the surface, it's going to be a Trump win. I'm just stating that objectively. That's not what I'm saying, like, from my heart. I'm just saying objectively, it'll look like a Trump win. All right. Trump's deal will be sold. I don't know why I need to say these disclaimers, but, like, you know, you got to, because people are like, okay, anyways. Trump's deal will be sold as an accomplishment, but it's a hollow one. If Israel had a stronger hand, there would be no talk of ceasefires, Trump or no Trump. The U.S. deep state's unwavering impunity for Israel has emboldened its genocidal policies, killing tens of thousands of Palestinian women and children. The idea that this ceasefire is a win for diplomacy is grotesque. It's merely a lifeline for a colonial project that thrives on brutality and the art of the facade. And I don't know if I'm going to play this Jeffrey Sachs video. What I want to do is play a, what's it? I'm totally blanking on his name. I think I retweeted his post, though. Hold on. I think I can find it here. No. Oh, there were other things I wanted to play, too. Where is it? Jackson Hinkle. That's who I'm looking for. Let me see if I can find Jackson Hinkle. I haven't really played any Jackson Hinkle in a really long time. Let's see. I think this is it. No, that's too long. I think there was a short one in here. Lebanon is celebrating Gaza's victory, according to him. Gaza is celebrating. So basically, people are seeing this as a win for Hamas. I thought there was a shorter, more sorry for the scrolling, guys. I thought there was a shorter, more succinct video. We'll watch a few minutes of this from Jackson Hinkle. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dang, you guys couldn't hear any of that. Sorry. Let me restart this. Let's see. My bad. What he's saying is, start it again. Hold on. Stop sharing.
Welcome back to Legitimate Targets.
Let me know if you can hear it now.
Today is a historic day. A ceasefire hostage deal has been agreed upon between Israel and Hamas. Both parties have announced that they are, yes, signatories to said deal, and it is etched in stone. I pray for the Palestinian people that this deal is respected and upheld to the fullest degree, though I'm not so hopeful about that. In the following episode, I will explain why. Before we get into that, though, I want to explain why this is, in fact, a massive defeat for Israel
now,
for the genocidal maniacs in Tel Aviv,
please.
and not a total victory for Hamas, but a victory on the path to total victory, the broader axis of resistance, which is now severely weakened
you can hear it?
after all of the events since October 7th of 2023. For starters, why is this a massive defeat for Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu? Look no further than all of the times in which the Israeli Defense Forces chiefs and generals, the Israeli ministers, and Benjamin Netanyahu himself have come out and said that Hamas will be defeated in its entirety. They will wipe out Hamas. That didn't happen. Antony Blinken, Secretary of State, came out yesterday and announced that,
He does.
well, Hamas is
Sorry,
as
Kate.
strong as they were on October 7th in terms of manpower. For every man that they lost, they got a new recruit or volunteer since October 7th. So actually, in terms of manpower, Hamas is still very strong, or at least as.
Okay, so you got the general idea. I don't need to play any more of that. Yes, Kate, he does read it like a Voice of America propagandist. Anyways, they're Tucker Jr. Okay, yeah, Jackson Hinkle, a little kind of a sus dude, but what he's saying is correct. That Israel wasn't able, to do all the things that they thought they could do. Excuse me, and maybe they needed to. Maybe they need an excuse to reel back. He's a MAGA communist, yes. Yes. They needed an excuse to stand down, reload, step back for a minute, whatever you want to call it. But fairly correct assessment there by Jackson Hinkle. And last thing I'll do is read this from Reuters. Final draft of Gaza truce deal presented to sides after breakthrough, quote unquote breakthrough. Hold on. Which one is it? Where is it? Here we go. This is from 2 days ago. Mediators gave Israel and Hamas a final draft of a deal on Monday to end. Actually, there's another thing I wanted to play. Where is it? Maybe I can't find it. I'm running out of time, guys, and I'm running out of steam. So, anyways, we got a draft of a deal on Monday to end the war in Gaza. An official briefed on the negotiations said after midnight, a midnight breakthrough in talks attended by envoys of both outgoing President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump. Biden said the ceasefire and hostage release deal he had championed. He championed it all the way to the end when he was gone. Yeah. Was on the brink of coming to fruition. Don't take credit now, Joe. Don't take credit now. Jesus. Just stop, you lying sack of you know what. Anyways, coming to fruition, and Hamas said it was keen on reaching an agreement. The deal would free the hostages, halt the fighting, provide security to Israel, and allow us to significantly surge humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians who suffered terribly in this war that Hamas started. Hamas started it. They started it. You started it. You started it. What an ass. What a what a complete maroon. The official briefed on the talks did not want to otherwise be identified, said the text for a ceasefire and release of hostages was presented by Qatar to both sides at talks in Doha. It included the chiefs of Israel's Mossad and Shin Bet spy agencies and Qatar's prime minister. Another round of talks is planned in Doha on Tuesday. That's yesterday. Sorry, let's get a little more recent, shall we? Well, Trump says we have a deal. He's claiming Trump becomes first leader to announce hostage ceasefire deal. This is today. And, that was the tweet that I read. I swear I had another video on this, and I'm sorry about that. I thought I had something that had all of the conditions. Here's Bloomberg. Israel ceasefire is a win for Trump. U.S. President-elect, get out of here, gave Netanyahu and his cabinet a binary choice to sign on or alienate his administration. It worked. I mean, it's interesting because he had strong language around what was happening in Gaza, but it was more so for Hamas and Iran and less so for Israel and Netanyahu. But this makes it sound like he was actually threatening Netanyahu and Israel. So it's a very interesting turn of events or twist on this story, right? Wait. Is it your birthday, Extra Bulla? Is it your birthday, man? Is that right? Sorry, I'm looking at the chats. Is that right, man? Ramalama Ding Dong. Okay. He's looking mustier. Yes, he is looking mustier and faded. He is. The shine, the polish is not whatever polish, but like the shine is kind of gone. He's looking like kind of. He's looking elderly. Happy birthday, Extra Bullet. All right. Good job, man. You made it. You made it around the sun again. See if you believe the earth is round. But you made it. These are comedy jokes, people. All right. Congrats, man. You got any plans? You got any birthday plans? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to eat some cheesecake? You're going to... Do you drink? You're going to knock back some Manhattans? What you going to do? What's the plans? What's the birthday plans? You're going to go salsa dancing? What's happening, Extra Bowl? Let me know. Anyways, Trump will get much of the credit if he marks the end of what has been a brutal war, and he'll deserve it. This is Bloomberg. It isn't that he or his foreign policy team came up with a new solution. Nor was it Trump's threat to let all hell break loose that will have done the trick. Hell has been breaking loose ever since Hamas launched its massive terror attack on Israel October 7th, the fateful day. There is little more than the U.S. president could do to dial up Israel's scorched earth retaliation. No, the fact that an agreement could be at last reached was down to the simple clarity of Trump's demand that it must happen and now. That has forced not only Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but also his ultra-right cabinet members to confront a binary choice: play ball or alienate the most amenable leader to themselves and their goals ever elected to the U.S. presidency. You can feel for Blinken and Joe Biden and the rest of the outgoing U.S. foreign policy team as Trump reaps the win from their tireless work in bringing two fundamentally hostile parties together. It's been a thankless job as Blinken... Okay. As Blinken's... Whatever. I'm sorry. This is starting to get comedic. I'm going to laugh. You want to clown and a pony for a shindig? All right. Some Long Islands? Come on. What do you know? I just bought some weed. All right. Nice. And you're going to be on Willie Bragg's show tonight? Nice. Nice. Oh, man, I used to drink Long Islands back in the day. I used to love them. Anyways. All right. Well, enjoy, Extra Bola. Enjoy your birthday in style. Yeah. So it looks like, it seems like Trump got this done. Again, everything has layers. Everything has, we're going to find out more as time progresses about this, but yeah, no doubt. Rich Diana, Trump is receiving an economy at the cliff's edge. Geronimo, T-Rump. Ice tea never hurt anyone. Okay. I don't know. I've been hurt. But I couldn't stop it too. I had to get like 5 in me. Anyways, it looks like Trump got this worked out. Apparently, I don't know. And kind of riding a little bit of a wave. Even though Trump is taking hold of an economy at a cliff's edge, after he got elected, the stock market definitely got a bump. So did Bitcoin. Everything got a big bump. We'll see how long that lasts, right? He's got an on-ramp, economically into his administration. We'll see if it holds, for a couple months anyways, but his dude did it. Which dude? Foreign envoy. Let's see if they name his foreign envoy. Yeah, I heard that too, but I don't know who that is. Let's see. Are we going to get an answer? Trump's Middle East envoy. Who is it? Steve Witkoff. There you go. That's he had some help. Anyways, it looks like it's going to be a ceasefire. We'll see, though. You guys know how long these things last. About a week. And they're like, I don't know what happened. The bullet slipped out of my gun. I don't know. The bombs fell off the plane. We don't know what happened. That's gonna happen, because they need more. But we'll see if it sticks. Thanks, guys. I got to get out of here, but I'll see you on Extinction Naughty tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific. I don't think that's 7 p.m. That's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. 4 p.m. is next week with Extra Bola. So 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. I'll be on Extinction Naughty. And I'll see you guys then. Peace out, everyone. Thank you. Let's see. Let me make sure I don't miss anybody. I have thanked the people, I think. And I'm sorry if I missed anybody. I don't think so. I'll see you all tonight, and have a good one.